Hello everyone. Today we are going to be looking at the CloudCard CSV importer, which is an open source tool that's been produced by CloudCard to help you to import card holders into CloudCard. It's designed to be run as part of a scheduled job where you basically have a CSV report that runs. Now that's completely separate from this. You'll run a CSV or run a report that'll generate a CSV of all of the new students and staff members that have been added to your system in the last 24 hours. And when I say your system, I mean your school information system. I'm not talking about CloudCard. So basically, say newly admitted students, newly hired staff members. You run a report of people that have been created in the last 24 hours, the last hour, depends on how often you want to run it. That generates a CSV, and you save that CSV to a specific directory, and then you run this as a scheduled job. It will read the card holders out of that directory. It will import those card holders into CloudCard. It will then move the original CSV out of the first directory, so it knows that that CSV has been processed, and it'll create an output report for you. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. Some external system, whatever your reporting system is, will run a report and create a CSV that CloudCard will then, or the CloudCard CSV importer will then read and process to create card holders within CloudCard. So let's walk through the process and see how it works. Okay, so the open source code repository is located right here. I'll post that in the comments, but it's sharptopco/cloudcard-csv-importer on github.com. So the README here, if you're familiar with Java, should be relatively straightforward. If Java is new to you, then we'll explain everything you need in this video. Requirements, you have to be running at least Java 7, but preferably Java 8. And the reason for that is we've already built the application for you, so you don't have to build anything. You can just download this and run it. But we built it using Java 8, so if you want to use Java 7, then you'll have to rebuild. Let's go ahead and go through the process. So first, let's grab this right here, CloudCard CSV importer.jar. Okay, we're going to download that. Now, your system is going to ask you whether or not you want to keep it. Yes, you want to keep that. Jars can be dangerous. Okay, downloading jars from sites that you're not familiar with, so I don't recommend that. But downloading our jar, obviously, you know what it does. But it is an application, which is why Chrome is warning you. Okay, so go back to the the main repository, and then go down into the source directory, src, and right there is a config-templates.properties. We're going to grab that file. So we click on it, and the easiest way to save it is just to click raw. It just shows the file, and I can save it. So file, save page. Okay, now GitHub adds this .txt. Let's just get rid of that, so it's just a properties file. So we'll save that. Okay, and now let's go back to our instructions. So that's like 3 backs. All right, so sharptopco, CloudCard CSV importer. Okay, so here's a summary. Okay, the requirements, we already talked about that. Here's our usage. We're going to type in java-jar, the name of the jar file, and then the path to that CSV or the properties file we just created. Okay, but we got to talk about that properties file a little bit before we really get rolling here. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up that properties file that we just created. Got this other window back here I don't need. Okay, so we got this properties file. Okay, I talked about the 3 directories. The input directory is where your report, your automated report, should save CSVs so that the importer knows these card holders need to be input. Okay, and then your completed directory, when the importer gets done with the CSV file, it'll save it here. it will move it here so that your input directory should be empty when the importer is done. And then it will create a new report in the report directory. So let's go take a look. I've already created those directories here, okay, just in my downloads folder. Let me just delete. Well, actually, I'll show you what a CSV, the report looks like when it's done running. Okay, it just has whether or not it succeeded or failed for each one, and the actual thing that it tried to import. Let's get rid of that. So, and then the input directory, I have a test CSV in there. Okay, the contents of the CSV should be email and then ID, the ID number, and then whatever your custom fields are. In this case, campus and name. Okay, so we'll close cell. Completed doesn't have anything in it right now because we haven't finished anything. So I've created those 3 directories. Now, they can be anywhere. I happen to have put them in the same folder as my, from which I'm going to be running. So let me just set this up. Okay, instead of // would go up a directory and then come down. But this is saying, look for a folder in the same directory that we're running called completed. Okay. All right, so that leaves us with three configuration values that we need to figure out. Okay. So we have down here the organization ID, the base URL, and the access token. All right, base URL, we'll do that first because it is the easiest. Okay, that's the URL that you use to access CloudCard. Okay, in this case, we're using our test instance, but if you were using production, you would just change test to app. Okay, so https://app.cloudcardtools.com. Okay, but for now, we'll stick with test. Okay, so if you forget how to get that, it's just everything up to and including .com. Okay, right there. All right, so let's go over to our test system though. All right, and I'm going to log in. Director@test.edu. All right, so again, here's my URL, okay, which already happens to be in my CSV file right here. Okay, so this organization ID, how do I get that? Okay, if I go to settings, click on that, okay, I look right up here, we're organization number 38. Okay, so whatever the last number that is there, that's your organization ID, and that is what you put here. Okay, and then finally your access token. Now this is just a random string of characters that doesn't mean anything right now, but we are going to get our access token. Now I recommend you create a different user to do your importing. Okay, rather than using your own user account, create a user account that's specifically for your importer. You do need to create it with an email address, but it doesn't have to be a valid one. So, importer@youruniversity.edu. All right, is a great way. All right, so well, I've already created that. Test.test.edu is what I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out, and I'm going to log in as that account. Actually, let me show you how that should be set up. Please forgive me. I'm logging back in as the director. I don't want to make any assumptions. Okay, sorry about that. So here I've created this account. And actually, you know what, I'm just going to delete this and I'm going to recreate it so that you can see what that process looks like. All right, so you click add to add a person and give them an email name. importer@myuniversity.edu. Okay, I'm going to save that. All right, and then now you need to set a password. So click change password. Give it a password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and check the box next to Office. Okay, it needs the Office role. Okay, and then hit save. Okay, so you've created a user that'll work. Now let's test that user and let's go ahead and log in with it. Importer at myuniversity.edu. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now obviously this is yours will be a different name than that. Don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the password. All right, so I'm logged in, importer, and we need to get the access token for the importer user. So this is a little complicated, but it's not too hard. Right click on the screen and then click inspect. Okay, and then over here, if I pull this out sideways, I see application. Click on application. Okay, usually it'll be collapsed, but there's a little field called session storage. I can expand that, and then I see the website that I'm on right now, which is test.cloudcardtools.com. Okay, and if I look over here after clicking that, I see Aurelia access token, and the value is right there. So I'm just going to double click that and copy it. And then I'm going to come over here and paste that value. All right, and then I'm going to save this. All right, so I should have everything I need all set up. Let's go back to my account and look at the people. Oh, hold on. I've already created these users, so I just need to delete them very quickly. Sorry about this. So let's get rid of these users real quick. Delete. I need to keep my importer. And delete. There we go. Now, this is saved already, so let's go back over here to my terminal window. Okay, now before you get started here, one of the things you want to do is make sure you're running the correct version of Java. So Java-version. All right, and you can see I'm running Java version 1.8. The rest of it doesn't matter. We don't care about this stuff. We just care that it starts with 1.8. If you're not running 1.8, you probably ought to just reach out to us and figure out what you need to do to get a 1.7 version or upgrade your server to Java 1.8. Okay, so we can clear that. All right, so let's go ahead and let's grab this command here from we're on the GitHub repository here. Okay, and in the README, Java jar, right? We'll just copy that, paste it, and then we need our config. Now, this is still called config-template.properties. A much better name would be config.properties or CSV config.properties or something like that. Because I'm lazy, I didn't rename it from config-template.properties, but it's probably, if you're going to keep using it, good to rename it. So, but that's it. Java-jar, CloudCard CSV importer.jar, CloudCard template.properties. I hit enter, cross my fingers, and it finished. And if I go look over here, I'm going to leave that screen and come back to the people, and I can see that it did in fact create those users that were in my CSV. So at this point, you know how to run the process. You've tested it. Okay, so this is the command you'll need to run. You've tested your configuration. Your configuration works. So this then would be the command that you would need to schedule in like your Windows scheduler or cron job or whatever, however you want to schedule it. Okay, and so that it is looking in the correct directory. Oh, and speaking of directories, let's go back and look and see. If you look, the input directory is now empty. It moved that file over here to the completed directory. So if I was to go ahead and run this command again, it's not going to do anything. Okay, I can continue to run it over and over again. So you could have this run every 5 minutes if you wanted, and it's only going to matter. It's only going to do anything whenever your report actually drops something into that input folder. Whenever your report process drops something in the input folder. I can see the original CSV has been moved over here to completed, and we already talked about what the report looks like that gets generated. It's time stamped, so you can see exactly when the people were input. So it should be pretty straightforward. If you have any trouble, definitely reach out to us. We're happy to help. All right, thanks. And leave any questions in the comments below.